Hey everyone, thank you all for joining us. We have Lou Barnes here and Jaelin Howell, both captains of the respective teams All Rain and Racing Louisville FC. We will kick things off with questions, so if you do have a question, please use the raise hand function. We'll begin with Jacob.
Thank you, Ryan. Good afternoon, Lauren and Jaelin. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us. Obviously, a lot to celebrate for tomorrow's match being the 1000th match in the NWSL. So there's obviously the milestone and lots of things to talk about with that. But my first question is just really beyond the celebration of the milestone. How are both teams looking towards the meeting up? Obviously, Lou, you and the Rain been 2 league wins in a row now, going strong. And then Jaelin, Racing is still looking for their first win of the season.
Hi, Jaelin, by the way, it's nice to meet you.
Hi, you too.
Jacob, yeah, I think we want to continue to build off what we accomplished the last week. Obviously, the schedules are so crazy right now with travel and 3-game weeks and stuff like that. So right now we're focusing on being healthy and continuing, to build off what we had last week.
Yeah, and I just say for us, we're super excited to be back home. That was a long trip for us, just going to LA and then staying there and playing Portland. Those are 2 really big environments to play in, so it's a good experience for us. But obviously, like you said, we're still looking for that first win, and we're trying to build off of the games that we've already played, and we're looking forward to playing at home, like I said. So
all right, thank you both.
Thanks, Jacob. And then we have Jeff.
Looking at the 1000 match theme here for the NWSL, Jaelin, you're playing for a club that didn't exist, was an expansion. Lauren, you're now playing in the big stadium from starting at Starfire and working around town. Can you both reflect on where 10 years ago neither of these things were there?
I can start. Obviously I knew I was doing this interview and had a lot of thoughts coming from 2013 to where we are now. I think for Seattle and the community that we've built there, it's been huge. There's been a lot of change, especially with the last 3 years. But like you mentioned, we started at Starfire and then now we're ending in Lumen. Just goes to show you where the league's going and where the investments are going, which I think is really important to highlight. I think that's something when I started in 2013 that the value of women's sports was still pretty low, and you can see that we deserve a lot more, but we're actually getting the recognition now. And that's across the board. Like Louisville came in, your guys' facilities and things like that have been incredible. So I think just seeing what you have to do to actually come into this league now is a great testament to where we are at with the sport. And I think expansion in general. So like you talked about, Louisville wasn't even here. So we're continuing to grow, and that's really great. And I think for me, with this being my 11th, I think it's the best competition I've seen from top to bottom, which is really fun for me. I think the development and investment in the younger and the youth has been incredible to watch. I just think that when I was here in 2013, the pool was very limited, diluted as well when we continue to expand. But now you see that the growth of that and, kids coming straight out of high school was something that was not even talked about when I was playing. So that's been really fun for me as a veteran to see, and just to see where this league and the youth for, US and abroad, I guess you can say too, because hopefully this continues to be, the top league in the world. That's been really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think for me, being a younger player and this only being my 2nd year, like how much the league has grown even since I've been in college is actually crazy. But also for me, I know it took a lot of hard work from the older players and from older staff to be able to get the league where it's at right now. And we know that it's not always been like this, and we're so grateful. But I think for us as the next generation, we want to continue to push it forward. And we're excited to do that. And we're excited to learn from the experienced players on how to do that. But obviously right now, like you can just see each year it growing and growing. And being at Louisville, obviously mentioned the facilities and the resources we have. And obviously I think each team, each year is gaining more and more of that. And I'm really excited that our club was kind of on the forefront of that. And like I said, I think the older players and the older staff and experienced players have done just an incredible job in getting to where it is right now. And just a short, 11 years. And it's really impressive, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
And then my follow-up with that is with expansion coming, Lauren, you mentioned, the player pool. You have teams with internationals coming off the bench. The level of depth around the league is pretty stunning. Is it going to be a situation where clubs coming in maybe have a better chance of being competitive right away now that that player pool is bigger?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what you want overall. I think in a lot of leagues, I've played in a lot of different ones as well, that sometimes there's kind of this big gap between the really good teams and, expansion teams coming in, or, teams that are just fighting to stay in the table. So I think that's something that I've loved about this league for so long, and a reason I've never wanted to leave, because it's so competitive at all times. Doesn't matter who you're playing on any given day, you're going to have a game. And I think, as athletes, that's what you strive for, and that's what you want to play in. So, and I think overall, the standards of, expansion teams coming in, Jaelin talked about it a little bit, that those are high now. So, if you're going to come in and you want to compete in this league, you've got to bring it all. And I think we deserve that for a very long time, but you can definitely see the tides are changing within that. And just the overall professionalism of clubs coming in. They continue to raise the standards. You see San Diego and LA as well last year coming in, and, the crowds, the environment that they're providing for us to play in, their facilities as well that they're providing us to play in. Those are things that I think really will change the future of our league. And I think it's really important highlighting that, and being able to be a part of that and see that has been really fun.
Thank you, Jeff. And then we have Steven.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to talk to us this afternoon. I kind of want to look forward a little bit. You've talked a little bit about kind of the development you've seen over a decade, kind of get into 1,000 games, and hopefully it won't take another decade now that we have a lot more teams to get to the next 1,000. But what are some of the things you're hoping to still see kind of further develop in the league as we get to start talking about the next 1,000?
Yeah, I think always you want to see the investment continue to grow. Like I said, maybe the last 3 years, I've seen that grow probably fastest within my 11 years in the league. Professionalism, I think, is a huge thing. Obviously, having a CBA and there's protection of the players is really important moving forward, and that we continue to have, that continues to grow as well. It's obviously very new, and I still think there's a lot of improvements in it, but I think they did a great job on that. And that was the first time I've ever even had protection, or being able to go to a PA and ask questions about a lot of things. So I think that's really important to continue to have, but also to continue to grow. I think brand growth is going to be huge for us. So whether it's social media outlets, TV outlets, I think those are things that we have to continue to see in the future, and can see those becoming bigger as well. So yeah, I think there's been a lot happening in our league, and a lot of those things have to continue to happen. But I think, some of the major things to hit on are obviously protection of the players. I love seeing the league expand. So, putting markets in places where they'll thrive and continue to grow, I think is really important. And then overall professionalism from, top to all the way down to the players, I think is something that we need to continue to strive and, have that protection for the players.
Yeah, I mean, she basically hit everything, but I think, just the overall awareness of the league, and if people realize just how great the NWSL is and how fun it is to watch, and continuing to broadcast it on bigger networks and our fan base grow more and more, then we'll get more investors. So just spreading the overall awareness of the league. And I think continuing to invest in the players, we kind of touched on it, but facilities, staff, just resources, so that we can continue to have world-class players play in this league. I think, we touch on it again, but I think we are like the best league in the world, and to continue to hold that standard high, we need to have high standards for facilities, staff, crowds, marketing, everything. So just continuing to develop with that stuff.
Thanks, Steven. And then we have Jacob.
Jaelin, as you begin your second year as a pro, I was just curious if you can just talk about reflecting on that first year, making that jump from college to pro, and the sort of adjustments you had to make, along the way of your first season, and then as you continue to grow into your second season?
Yeah, I think it's hard coming into this league, knowing what to expect, honestly. It's very different from the college game. It's a longer season. It's brutal. Everybody in this league is good. Every team in this league is good. Every day you have to compete for a spot. And so I think coming in to the NWSL, I think it's just the grind and knowing how to be a pro. I think my college did a great job at teaching that, but it's one thing to actually live it day in and day out. And so I think for me, having to lean on the experienced players was huge for me, and learning from them how to take care of your body in a long season, how to adjust the speed of play, how to at each game become mentally prepared for what you have to go against. So I think obviously it's a big transition, but I think throughout the year I was able kind of to learn, and like I said, this league is so good, and it's very difficult coming in, but that's what makes it fun, is being challenged every day. And so it's been an awesome experience for me, and I'm just looking to continue to grow and to get better each day for myself and for the team.
Thank you for sharing. And then Lou, as a follow-up to that, obviously you two are going to be competing against each other, but as a day one original, any sort of advice or insight you would pass along to Jaelin as she continues to, develop her own growth and her own path here in the NWSL?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, embrace everything. I've been here 11 years, but it feels like one day. So, all those special moments, like you said, it is a grind, the travel, all the stuff that people don't really see on the outside that we have to deal with could really affect a lot of things, mental health, your physical health, how you perform, all those things. But within all of that, there are so many special moments that you need to just sometimes take a step back, enjoy what you're doing. Whether it's you're winning, you're losing, all that stuff doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, this environment that we are in, one, you get to meet some of the best people in the world that will be your friends for life, which I think for me is my most fulfilling thing. And just being able to look back and be able to be like, wow, those moments were so special. Because when you're in the league and you're in season, like those things you can kind of forget to do. So always remember to take a breath, enjoy what you're doing, because that's why we're here playing. And like you said, it is one of the best leagues in the world. So that's fun in itself. And just be able to soak up those moments and really appreciate them.
Thanks, Jacob. And then we have Jeff again.
Lauren, when you came into the league, WUSA and WPS had come and gone, and you were coming into potentially unstable. Jaelin, when you came into the college game in the league had a few years under it. The next wave of players is coming into an established league that has expansion. Do you have any advice for that next wave of players that's going into the college ranks on how they can prepare themselves to become the players that follow up?
Yeah. I mean, I've been out of college for a really long time, but I think Jaelin's hit it on the head. It's, enjoy doing what you're doing, lean on your experienced players to kind of figure out how, to be a professional, to figure out this game. It's crazy. And just really enjoy yourself. I think for me, I think the biggest thing that I can pass down, like through my advice and words, is just to continue to fight and build the league. I think it's really important that the younger generation gets to do that. And I think for me, obviously, for the WPS and this, being able to start it was really cool, but I also think being able to push it and grow it is also going to be really exciting for the next generation.
Yeah, for sure. And I think kind of some of the stuff I touched on coming out of college, I think being sure you do lean on the experienced players, you realize the hard work that they've put in to build this league and continue in that. So knowing that you can learn from them. But I think biggest part for me was, again, knowing how to become a pro mentally and physically and what that takes in preparing every day. Prehab, rehab, mentally, sports psych stuff, just all the little things that in college, I think sometimes you can kind of get away with not doing. You can't really do that in this league. You have to be top notch every day. You have to be on your game every day. And part of that is a learning experience. And so I think the other thing is You're not going to get it perfect from the start, and you're going to have to learn and grow as it goes. And you have to enjoy that ride and enjoy the experience.
Thanks, Jeff. And it looks like that's going to be it for questions. Thank you, Jaelin, for taking the time to join us today, and thank you, Lou, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys,
everyone.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
see ya.